Hello everyone and welcome to this episode, the Juggling One of the Women Talking About Learning podcast. I'm Andrew Jacobs. This topic was a recent suggestion for our recording schedule. Indeed, it was one of the guests on this episode who put it to us. We did have an idea of who we wanted to talk through the topic, and our three guests were more than happy to contribute. We do occasionally produce an episode which gives us real pause, and this is one of them. Our first guest is Gemma Wells. Gemma has over 15 years' experience in learning and development and works as an e-learning solutions manager. Outside of work, she's raising 3 children and has supported her daughter through a ruptured AVM, which has shaped her outlook on resilience and care. Community is central to her life. She's media officer and under-13s team manager for Eldest Daughters Rugby Club. Gemma brings both professional expertise and lived experience to conversations about learning, balance and the pressures of modern life. Tanya Gallagher is the founder and managing director of Limitless Leadership, with more than 20 years in learning and development. Tanya specialises in scalable initiatives that empower leaders and create lasting impact. She's known for her collaborative approach, strong communication skills, and focus on quality and ethical practice. She leads client delivery across the business, working with both global and local organisations, and is passionate about building trust in every partnership. Her work centres on shaping high-impact learning experiences that make a measurable difference. Angela Liu is an entrepreneur, mother of 2, and co-founder of Envia, a startup created to lighten the mental load of parenting. She has over 15 years of product management experience across multiple industries and is deeply skilled in building user-centred thoughtful solutions. Envia reflects her commitment to helping parents stay organised, reduce stress, and reclaim time for what matters most. Angela combines professional expertise with personal insight, bringing energy and clarity to how technology can support families in everyday life. This is a fascinating conversation about life, work, and the expectations of women. We were completely absorbed in this conversation, and we hope you will be too. Recorded in July of 2025, this is Women Talking About Learning. This is Gemma, Tanya and Angela talking about juggling.
Hi, Tanya. Nice to meet you. Looking forward to this chat.
Absolutely. Hi, Gemma. It's lovely to meet you too. Angela, it's lovely to meet you too. Delighted that we have the opportunity to have this conversation together.
Likewise, it's nice meeting you both, Gemma and Tanya. I'm very excited to be here talking with you guys. What's the topic today? Juggling. So, should we get started? Gemma, why did you decide to join this topic?
Well, it's a really topic close to my heart, to be perfectly fair. Over the last sort of 9 months, I've been very much thrown into a juggling scenario. My youngest daughter, I have 3 children. My youngest daughter got taken into hospital in October. She had quite a horrific brain injury. So that literally spiraled my world into a crazy mess of juggling everything from literally my other 2 children, my work life, my home life, everything. So I spent 5 months in Alder Hey Hospital with her, going through a whole sort of relearn of her whole life. Bless her little heart. She's only 8 years old. But this topic really resonated with me because I think the biggest thing that I found is that through all of this craziness, the book kind of stops with me. So although like my husband's fantastic and he helps, every sort of piece of contact from school to hospital, it comes through me. And I'm also back working full time now. So I literally feel like I've got about 20,000 plates spinning behind me and I'm terrified that one of them's going to drop. So yeah, it massively hit me, this topic, when I saw it on the sort of list. Like, yeah, that's my life right now. And I'm sure it's a lot of women's lives right now. And yeah, it's such a topic to talk about, I feel.
I'm so sorry to hear about your daughter. I hope she's much better now.
She's getting there. She's a little warrior princess is what we call her. So yeah, she's literally had to relearn her life at 8 years old. But she's incredible and she's what keeps me going. So that's why juggling is like the biggest thing that I can sort of do at the moment, just for her at this present time.
I'd just like to echo that. Wow.
It just puts everything into perspective, doesn't it, when you're thrown into
I
such a
bet.
serious situation. But I'm sure you guys have got just as much sort of juggling going on in the background. Everybody has it in different ways.
Angela, what's your juggling story?
I started my own startup about 8 months ago, and I have 2 kids that are 14 and 15, and I have my aging parents. My dad's battling cancer, so the constant kids and full-time career and starting a whole startup and sick parents, it's been hard. It's been trying to keep up with everything and trying to keep up with the family in that at the same time, where am I and all that, right? It makes it hard.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear about your dad.
Oh, thank you.
So mine is not quite in any way as dramatic, which makes me feel like I'm not present at the party right now. But obviously, we started our business a while ago. But I don't have children of my own, but I do have two wonderful stepchildren. My youngest, I say youngest, she's 33, had her second child. And so one of the things that we do is, because we can't do the childcare,
Hmm.
we do all of their cooking and make sure that they're well fed, because she's now got two children under the age of 3. Not being a parent, apparently that's quite serious, um, and quite harsh. So one of the things that my wonderful husband and I do is we provide all of their meals and we do all of the things that we can do, but they do live 40 minutes away, so we try to do as much as we can. So mine is very much less traumatic than yours, but trying to juggle that is equally as bad. Unfortunately, my husband lost both of his parents last year, and so we're trying to sort out the move out of that. And in the UK, that's pretty much a nightmare, even though everything was pretty straightforward. It's still constant conversations. It's constant, oh, you need to do this, or you need to do that, or you need to do this. So trying to balance that as well as leading teams, sometimes you just go, oh, really?
Yeah, I hear you. I think
I totally get that.
the expectation's just so high, isn't it? I think for me, I put quite a chunk of expectation on myself as well, because I feel like I'm mum. I should be doing it all. I should be working full time because I need to provide. I should be balancing what my children need, because although Matilda, my youngest, needs constant sort of support and help with all of her treatments and all the other things that she's got going on, I've still got a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old child that also needs my support, because my eldest is coming into his final year of high school, so you've got all of the exams and all of the stuff that comes along with that. But I think that the expectation we put on ourselves is just so huge, and I think that's because we just look at what society expects of us, because it's always been the woman is the mother. So like stupidly, things like school will ring me, and if I don't answer, they'll just keep ringing me, even though dad is second on the list. It's like, why can't you just ring him? I'm clearly not answering because I'm in a meeting or I'm dealing with something else with our other children. But they never do. They just ring me constantly because I'm mum, so they feel the need to constantly ring me. So it's that whole societal thing that just attaches to the woman as they're the person you've got to speak to. They're the one that sorts everything, and it's hard. It's so hard.
So
It is.
what I'm hearing, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Angela. You're basically just so busy. You're juggling plates and you don't necessarily know where the priorities lie. The juggling thing for you is very much around, well, what do I put first? Is it this? Is it that? Is it that? Because you've got like a professional juggler wouldn't necessarily be able to deal with all of these balls.
No, and I imagine you're the same, and Angela, you're probably a similar concept, having all the things you've got going on.
Yeah, I got 2 kids, and the oldest is a competitive swimmer. She trains 20 hours a week. So trying to get her to all her practices and then competitions on the weekends that could run 3, 4 days. And then my youngest, she's in rugby and lacrosse and taekwondo, and trying to get her to all of her things. And it's a constant juggle. Like who can I rely on today? Or I have a list, both a physical and a mental list of things that I have to do, and things drop all the time. I'm like,
So
okay, I'll let that one go.
I think because obviously you guys are parents and I'm not, the expectations that are coming or the expectations that you think are coming at you is just majority on you. I think that's really hard for a woman
Hmm.
to say, okay, where do I prioritize this stuff? What's really important? Because to your point, Gemma, I have to work full time because I have to provide and contribute to, the pot in the household. But equally, I have all of this other stuff going on. So, where do the balls fly? Where do, which one am I catching first? Is it the pink ball? Is it the red ball? Is it the blue ball? And Angela, to your point as well, it's like, well, I don't know how I do this. I don't know. Like, I've got all of this stuff going on at work, and then at the weekends, I've quite literally got to run to a gazillion different
Yes.
sports meets. um, and holy cow! And when do I get the time for me? When do I get to sit down and say, actually, Mum needs time too? Mum kind of runs at a million paces per hour.
Hmm.
Where does your time come in? And, I'm saying this because as much as I support the family and everything, I don't have the responsibilities that you do. So I think the juggling thing is, how do you juggle the time for you guys? Like, how do you say, right, actually, I need some me time, I need some family time, but I also need to make sure that in all of everything that's going on, I don't get lost in the process because I think that happens a lot, particularly with women that are shouldering the responsibility. Because let's face it, most women do, and I'm not stereotyping here in any way, shape, or form, but most women do shoulder most of the responsibility for the home stuff. So it's most women most of the time, and you've got to balance everything. And for me, the juggling is slightly different because I don't have the responsibilities that you have. I have different, but how do you do that? How do we help women or empower women, if you like, to be more forthcoming around what it is that we need from our partners, our networks, in order to ensure that we're not being everything. Um, but we're always going to be the jugglers. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're all nodding
Yeah.
Yeah.
and smiling. But there are things that what can we do that helps us in balancing those juggling balls or the plates that are spinning, or however we want to dress it up.
I think for me, it's mostly prioritization. I know, for example, the kids have to get to their sports. I know that has to happen. It's like, well, the kids have to get to their sports. How am I gonna make that happen? But then, how do I schedule all my meetings around it? Um, and then I know that I would like to get in some exercise, and for me, it has to be at least 3 times a week. Otherwise, I don't sleep well. I'm stressed. I don't eat well. So it compounds if I don't get those half an hour of walking or running or just doing something active than being at my desk or driving the kids around. That's that me time. It helps me think more clearly. I come back much better as a mom, as a wife, as a daughter to my parents, right? So getting out and doing that and prioritizing those things helps me. Okay, this week this is what's happening, and next week I'll just make sure I'll do this. It's taking it bit by bit and taking it day by day and almost sometimes hour by hour because that's what we have to do. And back to your point, women do spend on average 19 hours on household management compared to men. they spend about 12 hours. So you could see that even the difference between the amount of work we do when it comes to household management is significantly more. And it adds up. And I see it in my life every single day. And I'm trying to see how I could make it easier. But I go, kids are going to grow up soon. It's going to get easier. That's what I hold on to. And Gemma, what about you?
Yeah, I think a lot of my problem stems from not saying no enough. I think I
Mhm.
literally will just agree to a whole lot of things and then go, oh my God, how am I going to fit this in? Because I mean, alongside sort of working full time, my daughter plays rugby, um, and I stupidly a few years ago volunteered myself to be the team manager for her team. My husband's also the coach for the team, but then that then resulted in me then becoming the social media manager for the whole club. So now, not only do I work full time, I also manage all of the social media accounts for the rugby club, as well as team manage a team of 25 under 13 girls, which is, let me tell you, very stressful, especially when you have to get in a changing room with them all. Um, as well as obviously managing
Yep.
my new life of, looking after Matilda and her needs. So I think my biggest issue is I don't say no to things. Pretty much everybody that knows me will tell you that. I don't. I literally agree to a lot of things and then go, oh my days, how am I going to fit all this in? But I make it happen. Um, a lot of so the whole sort of me time for me happens by accident. I'll get invited somewhere and I'll make it happen that I can get to that sort of event, or I can, see my friend. It means a lot of juggling again because you've got to juggle those balls to make sure you can fit it in, just so you've got that time. I did used to go out running quite a lot, so similar to you, and so I used to do a bit of exercise. So that's something I definitely want to get back to. But I think that's where women have just got to get savvy and clever with themselves,
Hmm.
and just sort of think about, right, you've got to stop. You've got to stop saying yes to everything and you've got to start prioritizing yourself. And I think that's probably the loudest voice in my head at the moment, just listening to you guys, that you've got to start prioritizing yourself, because otherwise you are just going to take the lion's share of everything. And a lot of the time for me, it's a control thing. I know it'll get done, but it won't get done the way I like it to be done. So that's why I then take control. So it's
Oh,
it's
I
a lot of
relate to
it's my
that.
own making.
Mm.
But I think we do need to start recognizing that, we're not superhuman. We're women. We are quite
Mhm.
amazing, but we're not superhuman, and we have to recognize that.
And I love that point, Gemma. We possibly put an expectation on ourselves that we should do everything. And to your point, it might get done, but it's not done to my standard or it's not done how I want. And I think most women feel like that. Most women feel like, well, actually, I could do it better. And I'm not saying we can't. Somebody once said to me, and it resonates with me really well. It's like, if you've asked your husband to do something and he does it, just because it's not the way that you don't do it doesn't mean it's wrong. And I do and all of my friends say this because we have this conversation very regularly. Did he stack the dishwasher and did he put it on? Yes. But the plates weren't in the right place. It's like, seriously, have a word with yourself on this one, because literally you've asked him to do something, he's done it, the job has got done. But because when you unstack the dishwasher, the plates are in the wrong place, you get antsy, right? And I'm the world's worst for this. The other thing is, and I am a real sausage for this one. I'm very OCD. So I
Same.
have ways,
Same.
yeah. You think it might be a woman thing?
I think you might be right, Tanya.
Yeah.
It's not just the dishwasher, it is also the laundry. So I will give you an example. I was really, really stacked the other day. I had no time to do anything, but I'd put a load of washing on in the morning as I was at home. So before I ran into the office, I put some laundry on. And when I came out, my husband had really tried to do a really lovely thing and he'd hung the laundry out. And I just looked at Maiden and went, what is that?
I do the
Like,
same.
like seriously. And I think maybe there's something in this that says we need to ensure that we are empowering our husbands and partners to do the stuff that
Yeah.
we just because it's not how we would do it doesn't make it wrong.
Exactly.
But equally, that's a task that we then don't have to do. And one of the things that has really helped me, and it goes back to the point I just made, was somebody said to me, just because it's not the way that you do it doesn't mean it's wrong. We need to ensure that when we are juggling so many different balls, if that task is being done and it's being done just because it's not to your expectation, then it's okay. I spend the whole of Sunday, most Sundays, cooking at the moment to take food over. And whilst I'm doing that, my husband is, doing lots of different household chores. And I go around and he's like, "You're inspecting what I do, aren't you?" No, of course I'm not.
Oh, nope. I didn't move anything to see you dusted that space.
But the point is, I'm sort of juggling that and the house, and he's trying to help me so that he takes some stuff off me. So I've not got like all of the balls in my bag to
Yeah.
try and throw them up and patch them all.
Yeah.
So I think there's something very much around how do we chill out, I think.
Recognizing it, I think that's the first thing. And we are.
Yeah, I think we just, like you say, Tanya, I think you just have to accept that as long as it's one
Yeah.
less task on your task list to do,
Yeah.
just accept that that's a win. I think that's probably the biggest thing I'm going to take away from this is that you just need to accept that that's a win. It's one less job for you to have to worry about. It's done, dusted. You can then focus on something else that definitely needs your time and definitely needs your thought process because nobody else can do
Exactly.
it because it's your job
Yeah.
or, it's something that you're passionate about. So I do think that's the way to
Yeah.
adjust your sort of expectations of other people. You have to just accept that that's done. It's in the past. Move on.
That's how they've done it. Just because it's not how you've done it doesn't make it
Yeah.
wrong. You've just put that, blue ball in the basket, and you've now only got, 5, 6, 7 balls rather than, the 8 balls or whatever. So I think that's one of the things that we should, when you've got so much going on and you've literally got this whole thing going on. Okay, I don't need to worry about that. It's done. Okay, might not be how I would have done it, but who knows?
So that's interesting because Andrew just asked a question. Is there something we see in work too? For me, I'll be honest. I taper my expectations at work. I approach it differently, much different than home.
How differently do you approach it, Angela? It's just like, how do you balance
I
that?
like at home. I did have the in the beginning. I had sort of the same expectation of my husband. Like when I clean very different than when he cleans. For example, when he would in the beginning he would wash the dishes. He didn't think about cleaning the counters. The dishes were done. It was done. I'm like, well, dishes are not done if the counters are not clean. And that was a lot of conversation. This is what dish means, doing dishes mean, right? Over the years, being married for 20 years now, I've learned that you just kind of learn to turn a blind eye and accept things and know that this is what they're capable of and this is what I'm capable of too, right? And this is where we meet in the middle. But for work, I have different expectations because it's different people, different background, different experience. Some people may be very senior and have different levels of experience that they bring in, and some people might be less senior. So you have to taper your expectation, get to learn them, get to know what they're capable of, and then set your expectations accordingly to that. So for me, it's work has been quite different in the way I approach it. A lot more strategic and less emotional. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's. I suppose you could take something from that though. I guess when it's your family life and when it's the juggling act that you're doing sort of behind the scenes with your kids, like yourself with the running around
Mhm.
to all the different sports. There's that emotion attached to it, isn't it? But when you're in work, it's almost like you detach the emotion from that somewhat, not completely, because you have still got some emotion, that whole
Yep.
passion around your work. But yeah, I think that is one way of looking at it, isn't it? That you detach yourself in that way. Sometimes you just need to detach yourself. And like you say, I'm the same. If you're washing up or doing the dishwasher, you do the counters as well. But I've learned to
Exactly.
accept that that's not part and parcel with that whole whole exercise. So I'll just run the cloth over the counters when they've finished and it's all good. So in a way, that's you detaching yourself from the emotion of getting frustrated that that part's not been done. So I guess we could look at it in that way as well on the juggling side of doing all of the jobs. You just have to accept that that's the way that they've done it. So you just do your little bit and add that to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Angela, I'm exactly the same with you. Like my husband, when we moved to our new house, took on a little bit more housework than he'd ever done before. It only took 20 years, but that's fine. Uh, and he does stuff, and I'll go, "Are you not good?" And he'll go, "Really?" And I'll go, "Do you know what? Let it go, because it's not important. Because actually, you've got one less thing to do." So it is all for me. It's around the balance and thinking, well, if I haven't got to do that, I can do that instead.
Sorry to interrupt, Tanya, but I'm just thinking, with you saying that, do you think as women we find it hard to ask for help? Do you think that we find it difficult to say I
I
need
think
help
so. Yeah,
because we feel like we shouldn't have to ask for help?
I think so.
Would you agree, both of you, that, that's something you struggle with?
I definitely have a hard time with that. Like, I will put myself out. I will sleep less, eat less, or exercise less just to get it done. So that way I don't have to ask somebody else to do it, which I know is not the smartest thing to do, but I still do it and I catch myself doing it over and over.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think it is the case, isn't it? Because I think on the outside, everybody sees that you're smashing it and
Hmm.
you know, you've got this whole exterior of managing it all. Because I know that's what people say to me because I'm juggling so much at the minute. They all say, "Oh, Gemma, you're smashing it. You know, you're totally managing it all. I don't know how you do it." But literally, if they could see underneath and my sort of inside, I feel like I'm just like paddling as fast as my little legs can take me, and my brain just doesn't switch off. But to everybody else, it looks like I'm calm and serene, and I've got it all under control. But internally, I really haven't, and I need to sort of get better at recognizing
It reminds
that,
me of
you know,
the
asking for help's not a bad
It
thing.
reminds me of the swan analogy where you see it gliding across the
Yeah.
pond
Oh,
underneath the
yeah.
feet are
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree with you. I do think that we possibly put expectations on ourselves, not a society thing, not anything other than ourselves. That we are there and we need to do this stuff. Um,
Mhm.
We're all nodding. I love that.
No, it's true. We just put such a mental load on ourselves. I think there is some element, going back to what we were saying before, I think there is some element of this whole societal thing, especially, you know, with having kids. I know you've got stepchildren, Tanya. It's just still the same sort of thing when they were younger. The whole societal thing is that, you know, the mum is the one that looks after the kids and takes care of all their needs, even though dad is just as equipped to do that and is just as capable. But the first person that anybody ever speaks to about anything, and we found it in the hospital with some of the nurses, like they literally direct everything at me. And like my husband was sat right next to me. I'm like, he can answer this too. He knows this information. I don't know why you're putting it all on me. But it's just how people perceive it, isn't it? That the mums know everything or the woman knows everything about everything, but we don't. We're winging it half the time.
But we do at the same time, right? But we put up our hand and answer the questions and we know the answers
True.
over and over. And so, in some ways, maybe we're reinforcing it too, right? It's weird because society has changed. It's become more modern. We all have jobs, we work, but then the expectations of us hasn't changed. We're still expected to be super moms.
Yeah.
And to be honest, there's no super moms.
No, there's no such thing.
Well, listening to you two, I would
Yeah.
dispute that, to be fair.
We just crack on, I think, and if good old northern me coming out there, we just crack on. I guess that apart from asking for help, I think we do have to sort of learn from each other as well. I think we need to sort of take stock of what other people are doing to manage this whole sort of juggling. I think it is definitely that asking for help needs to come out more, and we definitely need to learn from each
And,
other on how we can get better at this.
and for me, juggling is not an art, it's fluid. And it's something that we need to get better at as women to be able to um, understand and address what's going on, because there's not a box that's going to fit everything. Oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. For me, it's very much around um, where do you need to ask for help? Where else can I get some support from? Um,
Yeah.
but also, what happened last week is not the same as what's going to happen this week. And so it's fluid. It's very much go with flow kind of thing.
I think for me, it's identifying my support systems and knowing, okay, my kid is doing swimming and those parents are in swimming as well. And they're probably going through the exact same things as me. Okay, how can we help each other? How can we partner up? And because they have jobs, I have jobs, and we're all trying to make it happen
Yeah.
at the end of the day. How can we help? And identifying those people that you could rely on and count on, um, without having to beg for help. And because they understand what you're going through. And I have many mom friends that are amazing that come up and help when I need to call on them or offer without me asking. So it's having that support system has been important to
And
me.
the art of
Mm.
delegation's a good one as well,
What
isn't it? It's like learning how to delegate
Yeah.
stuff as well, not accept that, you've got to do all of those roles. Even at work, like I'm terrible at delegating tasks because I think, no, it'll take me 10 minutes. If I give it to somebody else, it'll take longer. But it is that art of delegation as well as having that support system. So you've got the best of both
Hmm.
worlds.
and remembering that what juggling for one person isn't the same for
Exactly.
another.
Exactly.
Um, and so it's around, for me, understanding what the other person is going through and needs, and how can I help that, or can I support some of that? But vice versa, um, do I need somebody to take something off me, or whatever else? And to your point at the start, Angela, was making time for you to do some workouts. Mine is making sure that the dog gets walks, otherwise I get mithered beyond anything. Um, but also giving yourself the space, so that even though you've got these 10 balls in the air and you've got all of these different things that you need to do, when are you taking the time for you? Um, because otherwise, what will happen is you'll end up um, burning
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Definitely, and that's not a place anybody wants to be. I think we just need to learn to put those juggling balls down once in a while and just have a little minute because they
Yeah.
don't always need to be up in the air.
Be kind to
Mm.
yourself. You're kind to others. Be kind to yourself too.
Exactly.
Yep.
That is an absolutely fantastic response, because, yeah, you've got to be kind to yourself, because if you're not, then who is going to be?
There's not much to say after that one. Our guests shared such personal stories, and they've all gone through such testing and challenging times, and they're still on this ongoing journey. We really do hope they'll find light at the end of the tunnel. We love this episode, and please let us know your thoughts. A massive thank you to Gemma, Tanya and Angela for their time and thought-provoking conversation. As always, their contact details will be in the show notes, along with links to the website, future episodes and our donation page. Please rate and review the episode in your podcast player. It really does make a difference to us. We're back in a couple of weeks' time, and next time it's the Chairing Conferences one. As always, thanks for listening, and we'll see you again soon.